So Nidra is a Sanskrit term that has evolved through time. So through time it has changed its meaning. We discovered that one of the very first meaning was to pass through darkness or through the night, which shouldn't be understood only this period from sunset to sunrise, but also through our darkness, to go through our darkness. And the later meaning is described as a state where what they call in India Shiva, which has to be understood as consciousness, not this funny character with funny dresses and all this. So it means it is the state of consciousness into which there is no division. Then later on it was understood in the Indian mythology that it is a state of what they call Shiva. Another later meaning was sleeping, like when you go for a nap or at night. And it also meant in the daytime when we are not aware and we are kind of in a sleepy state, not sleeping but sleepy. So it has all those different meanings. And when it comes to yoga, it is about this state of the consciousness when there is no division anymore. Then the aim, when it was called Nidrâ Yoga, yoga is a path, we could say it's a path, a way. It also means the state of unity. It has two meanings, the state of unity and the path going to that state. So if we take it as this second meaning, the path going to unity, Nidrâ Yoga is a whole quite complicated, sophisticated system that leads from, as they say traditionally in India, from darkness to light, or from division to unity, or from fragmentation to oneness. And so it is the aim of it. And we always have this difficulty with Indian words, because, especially with this one, because they both mean the process and the goal. So according to the way we look at them and the context of the texts, sometimes it means the path to follow, and sometimes it means the goal to reach. So the path is from, once again, duality to unity, and the goal is perceiving that state of unity. Now, practically into this path, there are many what I call side effects, which are very practical things, because it is built on two main processes. One is deepening, going deeper and deeper into states of relaxations. So one of the side effects of relaxation is, of course, that it brings a lot of relaxation within what we call the physical body, that is muscles, organs, even the bones, and also relaxation into the mind processes. This is relaxing the mind, getting rid of stress, for example, and it's really, really efficient. And the second type of side effects is on the mind itself. It brings a lot of ability to concentrate without tension, which is again something that has become very important for contemporary people today, to be simultaneously relaxed and concentrate. So these are the main side practical effects. which are, they come very quickly. After half an hour, they're here. Then the second step is when we link together these states of concentration and this level of relaxation, they bring a sensation of togetherness, being complete, no more divided. And that comes in the second time. It started without me really knowing what was happening. It started when I was a child, by the age of 10, 11. And I had what I discovered later being spiritual experiences until I was 24. And I couldn't cope anymore with life in Europe. Then I left for India with a friend. We walked till India. And then I started meeting what people call yogis or spiritual masters and studying with some of them. And through these studies, I slowly discovered where my path was, which was very much linked to dreaming, sleeping states, and what we in the West we call subconscious and unconscious. And Nidra is mainly about this. It's about cleansing the subconscious and unconscious stuff of the mind until discovering a state where we don't perceive anymore any sensation of division or separation. And then slowly I kind of rediscovered that there was a very old tradition about Nidra. And finally I met some ascetics who were into that tradition. And by time I kind of reinterpreted the very traditional way of studying, which is mainly for ascetics. And I retranslated it so that it could be studied by lay people. That was about the trip. How did I come to Nidra and spirituality? Difference between Yoga Nidrâ and Nidrâ Yoga. First of all, it's a difference of words. In Sanskrit, the position of the words don't give the same meaning. So the second thing, well, we could say that Nidrâ Yoga is the search of the state of yoga, which is unity, through sleeping. As far as I know, because I don't know very much about it, Yoga Nidrâ has another meaning, which means the sleeping of yoga, which has, it's a very complicated meaning. Now, practically, what we call Yoga Nidrâ has been codified not very long ago, 60 years ago, by an Indian Swami, who finally put a trademark on this. So normally you're not allowed to use the word Yoga Nidrâ unless you do his codification, his system. Now practically what I know is that what is called Yoga Nidrâ is basically deep relaxation. what we mean by Nidrâ Yoga is a deep exploration into the content of the consciousness. So where they meet is at the right beginning. Like when you go to asana classes, postures. There are many schools today which have developed, some are traditional, some are new, but they call the postures the same names. But then some of them are very directed towards the physical, muscular body, and some others are more meditative. But they use the same exercises. So, what I know from Yoga Nidrâ is very basic relaxation, deep relaxation, but basic. And Nidrâ Yoga is more, well, the state of relaxation is a basis from which we start this exploration into consciousness. So I would say that Yoga Nidrâ is the basis of it, and Nidrâ Yoga is a way to go much deeper into the consciousness content. That's mainly what I know. Yeah, the scientific research where the Nidra states, and we made different kind of discoveries. It's a little bit technical, so there are different kind of brain waves, and according to the length of the brain waves, today, because it has been done again and again and again since many years, today we know that some typical brain waves are happening in different states of the mind. So the difficulty for us is to understand the difference in between the brain, which is an organ, and the mind, which is the perception. So the difficulty is the machinery reads the brain, which is an organ. And then we have to compare what is read on the machine with what is experienced by the students, the people. So one side is very logical, the other side is totally subjective. So it's difficult to be 100% sure about that they really match together. Technically it's not easy. So what we have discovered, for example, is that in what I call the Nidra state, generally, because in Nidra there are 12 different kind of states which are named in Sanskrit. But we don't have words in our language, in English, for example. We don't have it. So what we have discovered is, for example, when somebody goes into, once again, we have no words in English, but the state of where his boundaries are kind of no more perceived. That is, for example, that the sensation of space becomes endless, and people lose also the sensation of time. So one discovery was that when there were 6 people, 6 students, when one of them is losing a sensation of space, it touches the others. They also go into the same state. Another discovery was that the logical mind reduces its activity, it becomes slower, and the intuitive mind becomes much wider. So people have strong intuitive perceptions, which are no more limited by, once again, time and space as we understand and perceive them in the waking state. For example, if I am aware of the space around me, for example this room, which is a simple thing in the waking state, ordinary waking state, in the Nidra state, all of a sudden I lose the dimensions of the space and I feel kind of without limits, without limitations, which is not something extraordinary practically, it is something extraordinary in the perception. Suddenly I feel I am infinite. So when you come back from those states, the logical mind, the objective mind, cannot match with it. So if you say it to people, they say, well, maybe there is a problem with you, maybe you're not so balanced in your mind because you're talking about this. This is where it becomes difficult to match it with the logical mind. And now for the person perceiving that there is a state where there is no limitation, and simultaneously to perceive that the body has its own limits, and that the room has its own limits, that they are going together. That is, where simultaneously we realize that we are both limited and not limited, which is something very strange for the logical mind. But when we talk about this with people who are doing research in astrophysics or in genetics, they say yes, of course. That's it. The difference is that when you experience from outside, either with a microscope or this satellite in the space, the person who studies is separated from what he or she sees. In Nidra, it is the same person experiencing, simultaneously being the observer and also the observed. And when this happens, it changes the state of the mind. And one of the changes is that it becomes very difficult to feel separated from the rest of mankind, for example. Other things we have discovered were about the heartbeat. We discovered that the heartbeat is slowing down a lot, and sometimes it stops. What happens quite frequently now, quite often, is that the breathing goes down and down and down, and then it stops for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we never know, because at the same time people lose the sense of time. And now if we go to the yogic texts, they're talking about this. They say that the state of the mind where there is no fragmentation is happening simultaneously with the stop in the breathing and also in the stop in the heart beating. So for the logical mind that looks very strange. And people say, well, these yoga people, they say stupid things or they're crazy. And we don't say stupid things and we are not crazy. We just witness this part of reality which is very intimate, and there is a level where the logical mind cannot explain anymore. The mind is spellbound. We don't understand. We just notice that there is something unusual happening, and with this unusual thing, sensation of happiness, strong happiness. So, for example, in the last studies that were made, I don't know how they do this technically, but one of their conclusions is that Nidra brings happiness to people. And I don't know how they come to this conclusion objectively through machinery. I don't know. We are still into the process. We have a third step, which is a research on the brain oxygenation. What is happening with the quantity of oxygen going on or coming into the brain. I kind of know the answer, but intuitively. Then we have to check if, obviously, through the machinery, it is said the same thing. Which is that there are much more oxygen in the brain cells than in the ordinary time. That's a big question. Today, well, what we mean by today is only since 40 years ago. Yoga is understood as a physical exercise, but this is very new, only 30 years ago. And I remember when I was teaching, for example, in India 40 years ago, nobody was interested by physical work practice. Now, what is happening today with Nidrâ Yoga is that it is slowly spreading because many of yoga teachers, which are mainly, they are postures, asana teachers, 98%, are looking for something new, and they have been interested by Nidra because this physical yoga is understood as an exercise that relaxes, and Nidra relaxes 100 times more than any kind of physical exercise. So today it is starting to be little known. What is once again forgotten is the spiritual side of it, or the very deep side of it, as it is also with the physical yoga. It is mainly taken as an exercise to get rid of the physical stress or nervous stress. And Nidra is much more quicker and much more deeper, and it works much more quicker. So slowly it is taken that place into, let's call it the yoga world, once again understood as a practice to relax. Now, for people who have practiced physical yoga for a long time, or people who teach physical yoga, all of them, they kind of know that yoga is a very deep exploration of the mind, because it is the definition of it. So more and more yoga teachers are coming to study something where they can have access to a process of exploration of the mind. So it stands in between, Nidra stands in between. First understood as a deeper relaxation process and a way to once again, to explore the content of the mind, hoping to reach that state which is the definition of yoga in the Yoga Sutras, which says yoga is when the mind is totally quiet. So we have two kinds of people who are interested in Nidra. One for relaxation and one for silence of the mind. Mantra sadhana, the words sadhana in Sanskrit is what we call in English a practice. And mantra is built up with two words, man and tra. Man has to do with what they call in Sanskrit manas, which is again the mind, and tra, which is a suffix at the end of a name, which means to protect. So it is the practice to protect the mind. So what does it mean, protecting the mind? It's always the same definition. The state where the mind is fully protected is when it is completely quiet and silent. Now, when we come to the path of mantra, the tool, the way, it is about using quite many, precisely 525 vibrations, which are used through sounds, through chanting. So it is about developing different kinds of vibration through chanting to a state where the mind becomes very quiet and silent. And we say, in India they say, silent mind is holy mind. So it's a way to use the chant with a particular type of technical aspect that we call nasalization. So when the sound is nasalized, so we have 52 different sounds, and when we put them together it comes to 525 vibrations, and at the end it makes the whole language, the Sanskrit. And there are different sounds which are bringing together a certain number of vibrations, and some other sounds, many of them have no meaning, they don't mean anything, they're just sounds. And some of them have meanings. And a part of mantra is also bringing what we call feelings, not emotions but feelings, to uplift the, we could say, the freedom of the people. That is, if you can uplift, for example, the feeling of love or happiness within you, without any relationship to anyone else. It's a very unusual tool to perceive that alone there is a kind of freedom that brings up that state of happiness, for example. And chanting is a very good tool for this. It helps a lot. Now, when we chant as a group, it also brings this sensation of togetherness. That is, we all know that mankind is one. There's nothing special. Whatever your culture, your belief, your religion, your political opinions are, the human nature. So when people are singing together, the sensation of human nature, because it is shared, the sensation becomes much stronger. And that's also another side of mantra, where people are deeply together and simultaneously they discover ways themselves, they can, let's say, uplift themselves by themselves, which is great. Similarity between Nidrâ Yoga and meditation. Once again, we have to be careful with the words that we use. In Sanskrit, there is this word called dharana that we can translate as concentration, and then we have this word which is dhyana that we translate as meditation. When the thought is active, it is called concentration. I mean when the thought is not scattered, when it is concentrated on something. This something can be outside or inside. But there are different intensities of concentration. Now, what was discovered is that when the thought is focused or concentrated, when we reduce the effort of concentration, but we maintain the intensity of it, there can be like a radical change suddenly, where concentration is no more an effort, is totally effortless, and the mind is totally focused. There is a second step, when the focusing suddenly loses the object. Then there is another state of the mind that is meditation, dhyana in Sanskrit, where the person that was doing an effort and the thing upon which that person was doing the effort are simultaneously one, which is very strange when we explain it. And the last step is when this spark of oneness spreads without limitation. So all these in Sanskrit have different names. We don't have so many names, so many words in English. In Nidra it is the same. We have different names for different states. We are talking about 3 well-known states of the mind where you can be concentrated, into which you can be concentrated. Then the 4th state of the mind, that is just called the 4th state. In Sanskrit they call it turiya, which means the 4th state. They didn't give any name on it. And so the first one is to be related to the world, outside world, or jagrat. The second is to be related to the inner world, that is the dreaming, which is called Sadhana. And the third one is being linked, let's say, to the energetical movement. It's called Sushupti. And we have translated as waking state, dreaming state, deep sleep, or unconscious and subconscious and conscious. And then there is this 4th state, Turiya. So, where those words meet is that Turiya is the same thing as what is called in classical yoga samadhi, which is beyond meditation. It's a state where, once again, unity is perceived without space boundaries, without time limitations, and where the meanness, the sensation of being somebody different from the others, this sensation has disappeared, has melted. So we could say that the deep state in Nidra is the same thing as the deep state in meditation. Now today, when in the West we use the word meditation, in fact what we mean is concentration. Is when the mind is focused on something. And we could say that meditation is a state, concentration is an exercise. And most of the time in the common people, when they're talking about, when they're using the word meditation, they mean concentration, that the thought is doing something. In a meditative state, there is no thought. The thought is totally silent, there is no activity. It is why we have to be very keen with words. And of course in the general public, it is difficult to be well understood. Because magazines, and journalists, and also yoga teachers are not quite often precise enough when they try to explain it. So Nidra, the Nidra state and the meditative state are the same thing. I rather prefer to say meditative state than meditation today. Because most of the time, again, when people say meditation, they mean doing something. And meditative state is a state where you don't do anything, you just perceive. I'm delighted to come to Australia, which is a country I've been dreaming to go since I was a child. And very happy to meet Australian people there. Hope we'll have a good time together in October. See you there. Thank you. Bye-bye.